I'm playing. Anyways, so I went DPS. I went burst DPS. That's what I wanted to do. I will have you know that there are things I have not tried, and any of these other two paths that are up here, I've not tried them. I can't comment on them, though I do know there is a way to spec yourself, and I could probably figure it out with very little time, and a way to permanently be invisible. It's an exploit as far as I'm concerned, so I don't do it. I do not believe in exploiting. Other streamers I've seen are okay with exploiting, and they're good with it, but I don't believe in it. I believe that clever use of game mechanics is kind of a bullshit term for hey, I'm exploiting your fucking system. I don't mind somebody trying to find exploits and then reporting them as bugs and then discontinuing using them. That's fine. That seems totally legitimate to me, but anyways. So what you want to start doing, guys, is finding synergy between the powers that you get over here and the feats that you're having, that you're picking. The synergy that I found is everything ties around Duelist Fury. Duelist Flurry, sorry. Duelist Flurry is and I'll show you guys quickly, a slow 2 attacks and a quick succession after that of about 8 attacks. So 1, 2, and then bop, 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 you do that quick attack. And my stream's lagging for some. I probably need to restart my computer, actually. So anyways, you've seen that a couple of times. It's hard sometimes to do that in a dungeon when the mobs are moving around, to hit the 2 and then follow up with the succession that I want. But when I do, it does a bunch of damage. And on top of that, there's feats down here that coincide with that. So Duelist Fury has deadly momentum that backs it up here on the Executioner Paragon path, which is what I picked. So it has a 25% chance when you socket it all 5 points of applying deadly momentum, which increases your critical severity by 3%. So every time I hit, there's a 20% chance that I'm going to stack up to 5 times 3% critical severity. So that means when I crit, I'm going to do more damage. Also, Dazzling Blades is a 5% chance to reduce the cooldown on recharging encounter powers by 1%, or by 1 second. So every time I hit a target, I am having a chance with my at-will abilities, which are my auto attack abilities. I'm having a chance to lower my encounter abilities that are recharging by 1 second. So twofold by using Duelist Fury, which is a quick attacking move. I am 1, adding damage to my attacks, and 2, lowering the cooldowns of my other attacks, thus improving my DPS mechanics. So basically that's kind of what it all centers around, is doing that. But also one of the best skills I have is Wicked Reminder. And Wicked Reminder breaks damage resistance. So a typical fight will start with damage resistant buff. And let me explain. You can stack this up to 5 times, but if you don't continue it on the mob, after about 6 seconds, it'll disappear. It's on a 4-second cooldown, 3.6 for me because I have a recovery gear. Basically, I break defense. Then once I break the defense, I go into stealth. Stealth is the other mechanic. I have these slotted up here, Cunning Striker, which build action points 20% faster when I'm in stealth per damage, because that's how rogues get their daily their action points for their daily powers, is through dealing damage. So I break down the thing. I do Duelist Fury with stealth applied, and these encounter abilities down here do damage and other little effects. I'm not really going to go into that too much. But when you're stealth, they do different stuff. Oh, fuck it, I'll go into it. Lashing Blade's your big hit. It's a massive damage attack. It's 18-second cooldown. Well, it's higher than that, but for me, it's about 18 seconds. I think it's around 20 if you don't have recovery gear. And basically, if you're stealth, it's guaranteed a critical. So I run in, I rip damage resistance from the target. I auto attack, and I go into the thing. So it looks something like this. I'll walk up, boom, break armor. Then I'll hold this button, and I'll do the quick attack, hopefully build up some kind of deadly momentum there. Then I'll stealth. Actually, I'll stealth sometimes while I'm doing it. So while I'm doing it, boom, go into stealth, do that. So I'm building up action points, and then I'm coming out with a big crit, my lashing strike. So it's building up your crit severity, it's guaranteeing you a crit, and then you're going ahead and using a crit. I should note that while stealth, you can do at-will abilities. if I wasn't lagging so bad, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. You can do at will abilities without going out of stealth, but if you use an encounter, it throws you out. So, anyways, so the synergy here is with, obviously, the deadly momentum, the dazzling blades, and using the duelist fury while ripping apart their damage resistances. And that's the biggest thing, is hitting Wicked Reminder every time it's up, knowing how to do it in between hitting duelist fury, and then hitting with a big crit on your lashing blade. Now, the only other thing that I use that's big damage is the shocking execution, which is an ability that it ignores the target's defense, and it deals additional damage based on how much health is missing. So you'll see me use it at about 25% on bosses and stuff like that. So if I'm doing this right, I should have a 5-stack of Wicked Reminder by the time that this shocking execution comes up, so I can go ahead and hit for hard damage. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Everything else is pretty much adding to that, like Devastating Shroud, increase your critical strike chance and severity by 10% for 6 seconds after using Shocking Execution. So everything else ties around the critical chances and stuff like that. Critical teamwork, 5% chance to everybody in the group, which is huge. Brutal Backstabber, while stealth, you gain you critical with 25% more severity. The other daily I use, I should mention, is Lurker's Assault. It gives you an added 20% damage to all your attacks, and it regenerates your stealth meter quickly. It allows you to remain stealth much longer also. In tandem with going with the stealth route of Saboteur, that's what people are doing to loop. They're keeping on a continuous stealth, which is totally OP, and you can't, I mean, oh, it looks like it's going down in 30 minutes. You can't, there's people who have been soloing epic bosses in dungeons, rogues, because of that exploit. So more power to them. If they can get away with it, great. But it's not for me. I don't choose to do that. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's just a bunch of crit and damage increase stuff. 3% better crit. Combat advantage things. Combat advantage, for those of you who don't know, is anytime you're attacking them off from the sides or from behind, you'll see a little, almost like an arrow next to your damage that pops up. It means that you have combat advantage over the mob you're attacking. So, anyways, that's a rundown. Hopefully that answers a lot of the questions that you guys are having with the powers and stuff like that. And I'll also mention that a lot of the powers I didn't even take. Some of them I didn't take. You're only given a limited amount to choose from, and you can rank them up once you get them. So getting stuff that went with my build, the Lashing Blade, the Death Strike, Dazzling Strike's not a bad idea for dazing targets, and then ultimately down here with Wicked Reminder and then Shocking Execution. But some passives to think about. Skillful Infiltrator gives you it basically gives you an extra 15% run speed, 3% crit, and 3% dodge, or 2% dodge chance, and then 1% deflect chance. Just having it up in your thing down here is a passive ability. The other passive I'm using right now is Invisible Infiltrator. So after I use my daily powers, it refills my stealth meter and gives me 5% damage. So as soon as I'm done using my daily powers, I can go stealth immediately after that. So anyways, thought I'd go ahead and explain that all to you. Hopefully that answered any questions. Looks like 30 minutes and then the servers are going to go down, so that should be fun. I'm sure a lot of you who are queuing are probably raging right now. Like I said earlier, great. I'm Drow Race, by the way. Great Weapon Fighter is a wonderful character, hard to level, and it sucks up there. No problem. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. ASDUSP.